What is a sign of depression that most people don't notice until it's too late? Lack of emotion. We think of depression as sadness, but it can just as easily be a kind of exhausting boredom. This is what I came to say. You're just too tired of having to exist since it requires doing so many things to simply do that. Keep a job to make money, pay bills, maintain the flesh sack. When everything feels so pointless since you haven't felt any sense of joy in so long, brushing your teeth isn't just brushing your teeth. It's standing up. Walking to the bathroom. Locating toothbrush. Locating toothpaste. Wetting toothbrush. Applying toothpaste. And then the most daunting, brushing your teeth thoroughly. Spitting. Rinsing. Putting it all back. Willing mouth. And having to walk all the way back to where you were sitting and laying. I know my depression is getting into the danger zone when I go from crying way too much to being entirely indifferent most of the time, and if any emotion surfaces, it's anger when something as simple as, great. The toilet paper roll is out and the rest are in the closet 3 feet away. How am I supposed to freaking handle a single second of this longer? Starts happening. That was going to be my response. Anger over mundane, everyday life stuff. The constant feeling of I need to get out of here. The need to get out of here is a huge one for me. I have this overwhelming urge to run away from everything. The only problem with the run away from everything is no matter where you go, you are still there. You can't ever get away from your own self and your brain. God, do I understand that. I went through a period of deep depression in which I literally got exhausted from taking a shit in the morning. I don't mean to be vulgar, just to show something you and I and every other person who's dealt with depression already knows. The simple act of being in your body is prohibitively tiring. During one of my worst bouts with depression, a buddy just randomly showed up one night. He dealt with depression himself, and knew I was in a bad state. He said something to me I still remember: you know your depression is lifting, that things are getting better, when you can appreciate a good morning dump. Crude, but deeper than it sounds. When you can enjoy a simple act that makes you feel a bit better, you're doing better. Depression makes us forget all the little things that make life okay to go through. A complete turnaround in attitude. One day your friend is just perpetually down in the dumps. They go out less, eat worse, and have a hard time socializing. The one day, they do a complete 180. They're laughing, smiling, being incredibly generous with things like gift givings and telling people how much they mean to them. Then the next day you find them dead from suicide. That turnaround was the making piece. They were going to kill themselves. Feeling numb. Not feeling sadness, joy when you should feel joy. You just feel like an empty, tired vessel devoid of purpose. I once described it as waiting to die. I'm not suicidal. But I'm not living either. It's just going through the motions until it's finally over. Not living, just waiting to die. I used to wonder why people would ever just cut themselves, the non-suicidal kind. Then I fell into a deep depression, and the numbness was so terrible I wanted to hurt myself just to feel something. Worrying that nobody likes you and it's all a facade. The self-doubt, the paranoia, and that feeling of being utterly alone even in a room of friends. I really feel this one to my core. I hate this so much. When I meet people, they are really intrigued by me. It has been that way even before my depression. However, now I feel like it is all fake and it is not sincere. I begin to doubt who sees me for me. I really just don't want to give a fuck, but that little demon keeps telling me otherwise. Yeah, I have this. I can have the best time out with my friends, and the moment I stop and go home I get the overwhelming feeling that they all hate me. Lack of interest in things you used to enjoy. That one hit me the worst, cause I used to play games daily, then suddenly for no explicable reason I didn't even want to consider playing another game, and didn't for months straight cause they felt like a chore to me. I go through the same right now, but I lack motivation and will to change. Yeah, it sucks. It took me 4 months for me to get out from it, cause I just randomly decided to finish Skyrim for the first time in 2018 and got the Platinum Trophy, then Fallout 4, and just seeing myself 100% something really helped me get back to a better version of myself. Sometimes you're not sad, you're just nothing. The nothingness is so tiresome as well. Like, wow, I got free time, what to do? And I spend 4 hours just watching YouTube videos and skipping them, not actually watching it. Watching YouTube while I'm switching between a cycle of like 3 apps on my phone, hoping that eventually something will catch my interest. I feel that. I feel like my free time is just lying in bed watching the first few minutes of a YouTube video and then losing interest and trying to find the next one. Feeling as though you're invisible. That you're on the outside looking in at life, but not part of it. When I was in grad school, I became completely invisible. I finally took a medical leave in December of that year and joined back in a year later. My old classmates said they thought I left in September of that year. I think that's called dissociation. That you feel detached from yourself, just running on autopilot day to day. In my worst depressed moments, it would seem like I was on the outside looking at myself saying, "What the hell are you doing?" It still feels surreal when I think about those moments. Going through day-to-day life thinking, this would be a lot easier if I was just not alive. I have solid reasons not to die, but nothing to live for. With regard to the until it's too late, I'd say social withdrawal. I had tons of friends in college and then experienced a pretty bad depressive episode that lasted a while. My friends kept inviting me places or trying to contact me and I'd turn them down or ignore their messages. I was just so tired all the time. Eventually the invites dwindled and the messages stopped coming in, understandably so. Once I found myself on the other side of things and in a much better place, there was only a small handful of people left in my life outside of my family members. I've never really recovered my social circle. I've tried reaching out to people and apologizing for my behavior and they say they understand and that it's okay, but things are never the same. It's really hard to get friendships back after letting them go. Memory loss. Nothing serious, but if you start to really not be able to tell days apart and life is blurring, especially moments that should have been memorable, might be depressed. Being tired even when you've slept a decent amount of time. Eating more or less than usual. Getting bored more easily. Anhedonia, the inability to take pleasure even in things you used to enjoy. This is a big one. Oh man, I feel that. Before I got on meds for my depression, I couldn't enjoy any video games anymore. You just go through the motions of life. Not cleaning or looking after yourself, joking or talking about suicide often, self-depreciating humor, becoming withdrawn, self-isolation, erratic or irrational behavior. As someone who's been fighting a losing battle with depression for years, I can confidently say it's often like you're a fucking ghost that no one listens to, especially those closest to you. This. Absolutely this. And having seen this situation as an outsider looking in, it can develop so slowly that you don't even realize it's happened until things are too far gone. At least in my experience, the isolating and irrational behavior ramped up so gradually that it was hard to see what was happening and easy to rationalize away as a bad day when in hindsight they were clear warning signs. Reframe that. I see someone winning that battle against depression. You're here. Offering insight and helping others from your experience. Depression might get the better during some rounds, but as long as you keep getting up and doing something, however little/simple/small it might seem, then you're not losing. As someone who went through some dark forests and am lucky to still be here, I understand how you're feeling. It may mean nothing as I'm a random stranger on the internet, but if you need someone to talk to so you don't feel like a ghost, feel free to message me.